Word, son. What it do, everybody? Today's date is Tuesday, January 11, 2021. It's your boy Jay DiVine, or Just DiVine, as you probably better know me as. This is the first, I guess you can call it a pilot episode of I don't know, we'll call it a Just DiVine podcast. I don't know, man. Like I said, it's the pilot episode, man. So we're gonna talk about a few topics here, man, and just really try to do a deep dive on them. And yeah, man, let's get up into it, man. Normally I would do my normal intro for when I do my videos on YouTube, but it's gonna be on YouTube and other places and stuff like that. So I don't really want to just say that, but shout out to everybody who's watching this on YouTube. Shout out to y'all and other platforms where this may or may not end up. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all stopping through, just checking out just a little bit of it, and maybe you stay all the way to the end. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, man. Without further ado. Make sure you sit back, chill, take a pee break, pause the video, or pause the podcast, or pause it, however you got to do. Get you some popcorn, because you know how I do. But without further ado, man, let's get up into it. So first things first, man. I was going to go in order, but I probably should have put this second one first. But first things first, rest in peace, John Madden. He was found deceased. They said unexpectedly. I think this was last year, I believe. First things first. So definitely I pay respects to John Madden. He was I don't want to say he was a pivotal part of my childhood, but I do remember his voice. I vividly do remember his voice in all the games of Madden I used to play. And I used to, like, sometimes on Monday Night Football he'll pop up. Sometimes he would show up on NBC, if you know, But sometimes he would do stuff like that. And John Madden is just he's a very legendary voice and as a person. I still remember I remember playing Madden 2000, you know what I mean, with the ludicrous intro, man, get out of my way, I watch it as I come through, busting in your line, cracking helmets here too, I bring the pain, so what you gonna do? That was my shit, like, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed playing Madden during those times before we got to where we are now, but I really enjoyed it, you know what I'm saying, because it was him and his vision that really created Madden for what it is, and really presented football in that light that made you really want to tune in or made you want to play it, whether it was on the game or whether you want to do it in real life, because that's what football meant to him. You know what I'm saying? Like you really enjoyed the sport. You loved how everything flowed, just how everything flowed as a team, and everything, just it made it what it was. It made the sport what it was. So, definitely rest in peace to John Madden. I appreciate everything that he did, especially with, his name still being used for previous iterations and future iterations of football. I will say this though, because I did make a video on this. I really hope that EA does not take the time to try to make a what's what I'm looking for? Try to make a I guess a moment, or trying to use this as a time to capitalize off of John Madden's death, and try to do some sort of like an anniversary or some sort of special edition Madden that comes with, if you buy a physical, it comes with some kind of memorabilia from Madden, or something to try to keep Madden's name in light, you know what I'm saying? Try to say it's a collector's edition. And then, of course, try to tie mud into it and try to give like a card or a coach card that says, oh, well, you bought this edition of it, which is probably $200 something. All proceeds are going to John Madden and his estate, and, yada, yada, yada. To honest to God, man, I really don't want them to do that. Like, that's just, to me, it's bad enough that they have all of this, shenanigans going on with, the game being what it is, and people are pretty, upset about Madden, you know what I'm saying? And it's sad that his name is still being tied to something that is being used to promote football, but it doesn't replicate it to its, to its highest extent, you know what I'm saying? So it sucks that his name is still being used, and me personally, if I was in the big seat at EA, I would really try to do away with the name, you know what I'm saying? Because it's bad enough already that we've been releasing these products, for what they've been worth, at the same as that time, and how quality how low quality the game has become and where it's gotten to, even on X Gen. You know what I'm saying? So I think it'd be better if they just did away with his name and try to, find um, something to try to promote the EA name. I'll take EA Sports Football. I'll take that. Just something. Just stop using Madden. All right, because what John Madden himself stood for, it doesn't replicate properly onto the virtual gridiron. So I really wish they would get away from that. You know what I'm saying? I wish they would do that instead. But, that's just me. Now, I don't know, probably, maybe other people feel the same way. Some people feel opposite about it, whatever. It's totally fine. But if they knew better, then they do better. But definitely rest in peace to John. Rest in peace to John Madden. God bless the dead. And prayers out to his family and his whole entire state. And everybody who knew John Madden personally, prayers, So with that being said, let's switch gears here for a second and let's talk about Kralo leaving EA. So there's been talks of Kralo, which if you don't know who Kralo is he is one of the people inside of the MUT community who has, given people input about what the team is doing. I mean, if you see Good Morning Madden, that'd be on Twitch sometimes. If you watch that, that's him. That's Kralo himself giving news about, the different title updates, what's going to be in them, about MUT, what's going to be coming to MUT, are there any changes going to be coming to MUT, just gameplay in general, the X factors. He's the one that gives you the ins and outs about what's coming to Madden. You know what I'm saying? Very, very down to earth, if I dare I say, sweet guy. You know what I mean? Very down to earth, very humble. He did a lot for the Madden community, and I don't know how recent this was. It was pretty recent. I can't really put my finger on the date when exactly it was said, but Kralo is leaving EA. So pretty much people are up in arms about it because Kralo was just different. Kralo was somebody that you respected. If you snapped off on Kralo, you would probably come back in 5 minutes, trying to give him an apology, because most of the time whenever we're angry, it doesn't warrant him to take the blunt of whatever we're angry about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would feel bad. Y'all have heard my rants. I would feel bad if I was in front of Kralo going off the way I was, because it's not his fault. You understand what I'm saying? So Kralo was pretty much that mediator. He was the one that really tried to, keep the peace per se. You know what I mean? Trying to, really relay the information, unlike how Clint says he would. But, he really tried to be that, that middle, the mediator, the middleman to try to get the information over to EA and hopefully that they listen. You know what I'm saying? But, Kralo's supposed to be leaving EA really, really soon. Not sure what day it is, or not too sure exactly when exactly said it or when the news broke. But man, Kralo leaving EA is gonna be pretty tough, because other people are saying already that they hate the fact that he's leaving, because that was like the last hope. That was literally like the last bit of hope that they had, trying to get the information over to EA. But we don't know who's the next one up in charge. I don't know. Probably do a little bit more research on that. But Kralo leaving is a pretty big blow, especially to the MUT community. So Kralo leaving, man, that's gonna be a pretty big blow for the MUT community. I don't really know who's supposed to be next up in line. I don't know. But all I know is it's gonna be pretty hard to fill that spot that Kralo left, because that might be pause worthy. I don't know. But it's gonna be pretty hard to fill that spot, because Kralo was just that guy. Like, he was perfect for that spot. Pause again. But so I don't know whoever's next up, but it won't be the same. You know what I mean? So Kralo, if you're ever listening to this, if you ever see this, or somebody might clip this clip out and send it to you. But Kralo, if you ever hear this, man, I really appreciate everything that you did, or at least tried to do for Madden, for us per se, because it's hard to really have a voice to talk to EA. So I appreciate you, doing your best to get the information out there and trying to help us get a better Madden for years and years to come. But there's only so much you can do. So Kralo, we appreciate everything that you did, man. I appreciate you. And wherever you decide to go next, man, I hope you have I hope you excel at it. I really do. I really hope you excel at it, and I hope you really do a lot more um, for your family per se. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, wherever you go next, just knock out the park like you've been doing. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kralo, man. Everybody's gonna miss you. Um, so I want to also talk about NCAA for a second because I don't really think that we've had this conversation yet. And I really think that we should really go down here and have this conversation because I think it's kind of taboo to talk about it. So, excuse me, it's kind of taboo to talk about it at this point. So I really think I'm going to say it. So the last NCAA was 2014, right? That was the last NCAA that ever touched a console, ever came out physically. That was the last college game that came out, right? Now, because of, 15, 16, 17, or the reason why NCAA hasn't been coming out at the same time that Madden does every year, because they had that big, huge lawsuit about college students and their likeness being used and they're not being paid for it. And, they've also tried to make it to where, they're still students. They shouldn't be getting paid. They're here for education. But at the same as that time, if we're going to have them on this team where it's like they get all the national television exposure, their team is pretty much all known all across the globe, games are using them or their jerseys are being sold inside of stores and so on and so forth. And you mean to tell me that they can't get paid for their likeness? You know what I'm saying? At this point, they're athletes. They're student athletes. If anything, they're athletes at most. You know what I'm saying? So why not pay them for the time that they're there? You know what I mean? Instead of them just, just pretty much just having a free ride all through college, you know what I'm saying? And then they got to get a job. Some people get a job or some people, like I said, some people just have it handed to them when they get to school. But, why can't they get paid? You know what I mean? So that was always this big ongoing feud about college students. Should they get paid? Should they not get paid? Should they get paid? You know what I mean? So it was always that ongoing fight. So until they figured out what it was, college football just deceased. I mean, it was ceased and desisted pretty much. So so after they finally ruled through the courts and they figured out what they was going to do, they're allowing college students to get paid now to play for schools and have their likeness used. So they're getting paid to play. So that's cool. You know what I mean? That's cool now. So with that being said, that opens up the door now for NCAA to come back. However, I will say this. It's cool to hear that they're coming back, but we have to call a spade here. NCAA is not going to hit like it used to back in the day. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to look at the track record. You know what I mean? NCAA was always on par, if not more, than Madden every year it came out. Every year it came out, it was always, to me personally, I felt like NCAA was easier versus playing Madden. And I played on Heisman, but I still felt like NCAA was easier versus Madden. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? But either way, NCAA always was a step ahead or a step further than Madden. You know what I'm saying? Like, give you an example. I remember when NCAA 10 came out, right? I forgot who's on the cover of that, but I remember NCAA 10 came out, and I remember whenever they started trying to mimic Madden 09 in the way that they move. You know what I'm saying? So I remember they did that, and then I remember it was a change of direction when NCAA 11 came out because one thing that they talked about was locomotion. Now, the whole locomotion thing, that was kind of like it's like a unique word to try to explain to people what exactly speed and acceleration was. And then, like, when you saw the running animation, you saw how different it was versus the last iteration. Madden 11 had the same exact run style or run animation, and NCAA had the same exact thing. But like I said, whenever they made their jumps to the next year's installment of NCAA, you saw that they were pushing the envelope and they were trying to be as innovative as possible to try to make their game stand out from the last one. And to me, that was always like it was telling to me. You know what I mean? But now that it's been so long and we haven't seen what EA is capable of doing for NCAA, but we can only take notes or take heed from what they're doing to Madden, especially when they come over to next gen. It's cool and all because, hey, NCAA is back. You know what I'm saying? It's back. Everything is all good now. Oh my God, it's so nostalgic. And I think that's what a lot of y'all are going to have happen to you. It's the nostalgia thing. Whew. I was talking, got my damn voice dry. Shit. All right, but with NCAA coming back, it's going to be mostly a nostalgia thing. Once that nostalgia runs out, then you're going to start seeing how it's following right behind Madden. And then for me per se, I'm glad that, the teams are back and NCAA is back and all, but how long will it be before you get to the point where, okay, these animations are getting out of hand. Okay, DDA is kicking in. Oh, wow, how did I lose that game? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that you're saying about Madden is going to happen in NCAA. So me personally, I'm not really too hyped for it to come out. You know what I mean? Honestly, I'll be fine if it didn't come out. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it's cool that it's coming back. People have another football game to play, but it's EA we're talking about here. You know what I mean? It's going to get to a point where that people are going to start buying these games, and then all of a sudden here comes Ultimate Team. You know what I mean? NCAA Ultimate Team. So who's to say that they're going to take that realm that we're in as far as nostalgia and take that and try to burrow itself deeper into your pockets and try to get you to fork over more money, because people are going to do it. I remember NCAA 14 had Ultimate Team. That was a first introduction to Ultimate Team when it came to NCAA. But mind you, that was the last one that they dropped. So who's to say that when they come back, they're going to try to push Ultimate Team? You see what I'm saying? So like I said, the nostalgia thing is going to be there. But once that fades away, you're going to start seeing you're going to see how exact it is to Madden. You know what I mean? So honestly, man, I'm not really too hyped for it. If it comes out today or tomorrow, cool. But, once that nostalgia dies out, you'll see what I'm talking about. But, let's see. What we got next on the docket? Kralo, Madden, NCAA. All right, so just recently I got Vanguard. I want to say this, man, because I had 2042. I got that when it dropped. Let me say this, man. I don't want to hear anybody else talking smack, talking down, anything in between about 2042. I don't want to hear no more slander, because I played Vanguard. That game has its issues. That game has its problems. All right. The spawns are terrible. Sometimes, the weapons don't always hit sometimes. Might be a hit registration problem. I don't know. But the game has its problems. People love to rag on 2042 because it's the edgy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no more slander about that. If you play Vanguard, I don't want to hear no more damn slander. And another thing from both games, I want them to stop with the Apex-like endings. Like, seriously, stop, dude. It's so cringy. It is so damn cringy. Like, I can't get over the whole fact of, like, the end of the game pops up, and then the first thing they do is they do some stupid animation that lasts 3 to 5 seconds of them getting the kill off of somebody. It looks so cool and looks so tactical and technical and shit like that. I'm so tired of that, man. Like, they really should do away with that. It's really tacky, and it takes away from what the game is supposed to be. But one thing I will say, I'm glad Vanguard did have a field of view slider. I'm really glad they had that. To me, that kind of evens the field. And Battlefield also has it too. But I'm kind of glad that they did that, because it evens out the field. That now, like, you have more visibility. Because that's pretty much like the only thing that I didn't like about Modern Warfare, especially in Warzone, that only console is the only one that doesn't have the field of view slider. But if we're on PC, which I played on PC has all the field of view that they want. You know what I mean? Right now I'm playing somewhere currently in the 100 slot. The 100 spot, the FOV slider, that's where I'm at. I think I'm at like 105 or something like that. But either way, but it helps me as far as like visibility goes, and I'm not gonna lie, when you have the field of view slider up, it really feels like you have cracked out movements. That's what it really feels like, especially on Battlefield. Same thing. But yeah, these games respectively, they have their they have their differences. Let's just say that, right? And that's totally fine. I have no issue with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, I will say this. It is real corny to watch people just jump on a bandwagon and diss 2042. Oh, it's boring. Oh my God, they dropped the ball. They can't follow through. They can't come up with X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, y'all are really killing me, because it's like, where do y'all get off, ragging on a game that came back to its roots? Because I'm pretty sure y'all are the same ones that took Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 when it came out and shitting on it instantly. I'm pretty sure y'all are the ones that did that. I'm not going to lie. I sucked it up and played Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 because both of them weren't really the ones I wanted. Battlefield 1 was a new entry because that was like that covered a different war side. You know what I mean? Battlefield 5, didn't really too much care for it, but at that time I was really trying to get away from Call of Duty. So me personally, I didn't have an issue with it, but it got to the point where I was bored of it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really ask for that. I didn't ask for that kind of Battlefield, but then again, I was like, whatever. So I was like, okay, did all that, and then 2042, I'm following the news behind that, and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, and then Bad Company 2, the Bad Company series. Those really hit different to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I really liked those. I liked those Battlefields alone themselves. Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, and the Bad Company series. Those are my favorite Battlefields. I enjoyed those. You know what I'm saying? So to hear that they were returning back to that type style of gameplay, I was like, yo, like, I think this might be it right here. You know what I'm saying? And lo and behold, when it first came out, they had the weapon spread issue or the weapon bloom issue, which that was a pain in the ass. Like I still got tier 1 on my M5. I still got that, but I'll be lying to you, and I'll be lying to you if I told you that I didn't want to quit sometimes, because it was so bad trying to get that. You know what I mean? Because the SMGs or the PPSH, not PPSH, but the PP19 or whatever it is, but that gun and SMGs in general, they had no weapon spread, so I can laser somebody at what is that, like AR range, DMR range, damn near sniper range if I wanted to, but at ranges where they should not be performing, they're performing. I'm lasering people at that range with no problem. Get headshots, getting almost insta kills. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But during that time, I still trucked through it. Because if you look at the previous iterations of Battlefield, it had its problems at jump. It always had problems at jump. Some more than others, but it had its problems. But at the same time, I still cut for Battlefield to the point where I would put up with it because it wasn't that bad. I wasn't the ones always trying to jump ship and, oh, this game is terrible. Oh, I can't play it like this. Oh, if it wasn't game breaking, I could put up with it. You know what I'm saying? But I remember Battlefield 4 when it came out on PS3, and oh my God, like Battlefield 4 on PS3 pushed that console to its limits. I remember me and my cousin used to play all day, all night Battlefield 4. And when I tell you, we used to play that shit till it froze. That was the one game I had to look forward to the updates. When the update came out, I was excited. Cause I was like, cool, all right, I think they fixed it. It shouldn't freeze no more. But, it froze, and then I had to wait for another update. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad to the point where I couldn't it wasn't that bad to the point where I couldn't play it and still enjoy it regardless of what all the issues was at hand. It wasn't that bad to me. But, here we are in this day and age, people love to make content and talk about a game that has its shortcomings, but they don't know the history of Battlefield behind it. Battlefield 3 got shit on. Bad Company 1 and 2 got shit on. Bad Company 4 got shit on. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. But then when some time goes on, they go back and they revere it as, oh, this Battlefield wasn't that bad. I think we should have gave this game a chance. They do it every time. That's why any person who I see calling out Battlefield, I call them corny. Because it's like, you're the same one that I'm pretty sure has had something to say about each Battlefield. And then after some time goes on, maybe about a year or so after the cycle is over with, you go back and say, you know what, this game actually wasn't that bad. And true enough, we've all done it. I've said I've said things about Call of Duty that, didn't age that well, like Infinite Warfare. I hated Infinite Warfare, but it wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? I low-key still enjoyed it. Like Call of Duty Ghosts. I didn't like Ghosts that much, but at that time, it was just it released at the wrong time, because that's when they were trying to do the whole Battlefield thing. That's when they was on the jock of Battlefield, when they try to make more expansive, bigger maps and try to really push tactical gameplay and stuff like that. That's what they were trying to do with Ghosts. You know what I'm saying? There were more bigger maps than there were small maps. So as a result of that, we hated it. Go back some time later and like, oh, you know what? God, Ghost actually wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? So that's why whenever it has its issues now, I'm not okaying it. But all I'm saying is, I'm not gonna sit here and shit on it because that's what everybody else is doing. Even if the game does have its shortcomings, I'm being patient enough to wait until a patch comes out to fix these things. Now I can just sit it down and just wait for a patch to come out, or I can still try to muddle through it and hopefully, wait for a patch to come out during that time and still play the game. You know what I'm saying? But between Call of Duty and Battlefield, both of them respectfully have their own problems, and I really appreciate people just stop just trying to just rag on Battlefield, because that's the cool thing to do, because Vanguard has its issues and I've seen a couple of them. So y'all should just really stop trying to be so damn edgy and try to be funny for likes and clicks and shares and shit. Just knock it off, man. Like seriously, just knock the shit off. But other than that, man, I mean, I played my first few games of Vanguard. Blitz, Jesus Christ, Blitz is a mess. I like the pacing. I like the different pacing. I think it's tactical, assault, and blitz. Blitz is, what you think of as a blitz. Everything fast paced, close quarter. Everybody knows somebody. I think I had, was it 10v10 blitz? That shit was crazy. The weapons, they feel all right. You know what I mean? Once I finally start leveling them up some, we'll know how they come out. But, I mean, all Vanguard is World War II, but just with, it's called World War II, but just with the Modern Warfare. It's with the Modern Warfare engine on it. That's all it is. And I don't know why, but for some weird ass reason, I don't know why this shit does this, but I don't know where Call of Duty gets this idea from, that when you put on HDR, for some weird ass reason, it always washes out the colors. I don't know why it does that shit. Like, I'm to the point I'm about to turn off HDR altogether, because that's the only game where it looks all stupid like that. Any other game that I play with HDR on, it don't look like that. I don't know why it does that shit. I don't know why. And my TV is like 4K HDR ready and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why it does that shit. I don't know why. I don't know if that's something on their end that they feel like is a great filter or color choice or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've played both, and let's just stop with the let's stop with the Fugazi shit. All right, let's just stop. Okay. All right, but I guess that's a pretty good segue into what I'm really finna dive into. Like, I really want to give a deep dive about this, because this is something that really has this is something that I really wanted to talk about, because this has been on my mind heavy lately. I want to dive into this world of social media. I have now gotten to the point where I don't even tap into social media like I used to. I used to like, literally like wake up and involve myself in social media to this point where I included myself into this world of social media, and I got so caught up in it to the point where I forgot what it actually meant to be in real life. I really forgot about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really forgot what real life was like, because I used to get on social media and just look at different topics about stuff, right? And it got me to the point where I was like delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had a thought, or if I had a stance about something, felt strongly about it, if I found more people that felt the same way I felt, then it made me feel like, okay, I know I'm not crazy. I'm on to something. You know what I mean? But if you could say that for my thought process, you could say that for somebody else. You know what I mean? And I think that's really where that's where I started really getting a level of disconnect. because I started losing the sense of reality to the point where it's like, a lot of shit that you're saying on social media, it really don't matter. Like, you go in the real world with that same ideology, that shit not gonna matter. Don't nobody give a fuck. You can go onto the train right now. You can go on the bus right now and look somebody in the face and tell them what you might feel so strongly about. And like, okay. Them folks don't care. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody cares, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I used to literally sit here and I would be so obsessed with social media to the point where it'll put a damper on my day because, I see people reacting to what I probably said about something, or if I felt strongly about something, people reacting negatively to it versus more of it being positive. I used to really let that take a toll on me. I don't know why I did. You know what I mean? But I used to be so obsessed with social media to the point where I literally almost made that in my life. You know what I mean? So, social media has just gotten to this point where it's like, I've kind of almost gotten it down packed. But social media to me is like, you're on this soapbox, right? And you stand on this soapbox, and what a soapbox is pretty much, you can Google it, but it's like, whenever somebody was saying something important, they stood on top of a soapbox and they preached to the people in the street about what they felt strongly about. That is what social media is like to me. People are always often projecting their opinions and views and thoughts about some shit that really don't matter in the real world. Give an example. This is a great segue right here. Antonio Brown. If you don't know about Antonio Brown, wide receiver for, everybody knows him for as being the wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His last recent stint was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everybody heard the news that, he pretty much he quit. He pretty much quit. And in the middle of the game, he took his equipment and stuff off and, threw pieces of it into the stands to the fans or whatever, and then he walked off the field. Everybody remembers that. So, and we're gonna dive deeper into that, but I was looking at what people were saying, and some people have said same thing I said. It's a CTE thing because everybody remembers when he got hit by Vontaze Burfict, and that was a pretty nasty hit. That was a pretty nasty hit, illegal at that, but it was a very nasty thing to see him get hit like that. And then I was looking at people saying, oh, he's a quitter. Oh, he's a diva. Oh, this is just like AB. He's such a quitter, such a drama queen, and it's people like that get on my fucking nerves because y'all think y'all know so much, and you would really think that you would handle it better in that position, in that predicament. Y'all think y'all know every fucking thing. Y'all don't know shit. You don't know shit just like I don't know shit. So how can you sit there with a straight ass face and say, oh, well, I would have never did it like that? How the fuck would you have handled it? Same circumstances, same certain situations. You don't know what was going through that man's head at that time. You don't know that. You know what I mean? So, I was sharing this with a couple of people, and a friend of mine, I told him, I was like, hey, did you hear about Antonio Brown? He threw all his gear off and stuff like that and walked off the field. I think he might be done. So I showed him the video. He was like, dang, that's crazy. I was like, well, and then he replied back and said, I was like, what a quitter, or something like that he said, right? I was like, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that quitter shit. I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it's probably CTE. But either way, I stood with him because, we don't know what exactly the NFL did to him. And like I said, we're gonna delve into this topic a little deeper in a second, but I just want to say, social media is a fucking joke sometimes because, from cancel culture all the way to people projecting their opinions and views onto you, to the people who try to shame others for not having their or similar living status. That shit is just funny to me. It's funny to me because, you don't know you don't know how the way that people are living. You say you try and give people motivation, but to me, it sounds like you're shaming people because once upon a time you were in that spot. It might not be that same exact spot, but you were down also at one point in time. So who the fuck are you to try to publicly shame somebody? Go sit down somewhere. Go find something else better to do. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen people, which is a former friend of mine. I don't really too much talk to her no more, but, her platform is pre-driven by social media. Oh, everything was, I was on social media this, I was on social media that, and they were saying this. I was on social media and they were saying that. Yada 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 yada. Everything is just tuned to social media, and it's like, you know, once I turned off social media and got back to my way of living and lived in the real world in the times and in the present, when I went and did that, I started to realize that social media ain't nothing but a figment of my fucking imagination. You know what I mean? All it is a bunch of people that be fake outraged over some shit that ain't gonna matter 48 minutes from now, or until they log back in on Twitter and they see it again and they get outraged. It's not gonna matter then. You know what I'm saying? So social media is a joke at times. I use it as a tool to try to push out my content and try to, make moves like that. But as far as like really trying to have a conversation with somebody via social media, or get into a debate, it was pretty much a damn argument on social media about something, and then they go into this deep psychological, physiological thought process about a male, and just these coin phrases is so stupid. Social media is just gotten so stupid. It has gotten so dumb over the times. That's why I'd rather not tap into it anymore. Like I just don't care for social media anymore. I don't care, because like I said, my way of living and how I go about living my day, social media doesn't help me. Your thoughts and opinions on social media does not help me live a better life. If I get back to myself and focus on myself, I have a better way of maneuvering through life than worrying about what social media got to say about me or how I'm handling shit. Now, the Antonio Brown situation. Now, pretty sure a lot of y'all have heard already. I was trying to wait for the story to kind of develop so I can kind of give a deeper dive into it. So, the Antonio Brown thing, I'm pretty sure if y'all heard of it. Like I said earlier, he quit mid-game. Some people say he retired. Some people say he left. Some people have been seeing videos of him when he took his equipment off, took his pads off, took his jersey off, his shirt, just took off his equipment, threw it in the stands to the fans or whatever. Then he walked off the field. So, there's been reports, trying to see right here. There's been reports of, Bruce Arians wanting to play through the injury, but, he didn't want to. Some people have been saying that he had a bonus that he was trying to fulfill and he couldn't fulfill that bonus, so he's upset about that. Then there was other things about, just how, he wanted to pretty much rest up, but they wanted him to play. And, people seeing that and they just think that, oh, he's a quitter. No, he's such a drama queen. And, it's crazy to me because honestly, if all else fails, I'm chalking it up to CTE. You know what I mean? But if it's not the CTE and there's legitimate reasons as to why he did what he did, you know what I mean? I stand with Antonio Brown. I hope that he gets the help that he deserves, but I wouldn't go around calling him a quitter. I wouldn't go around calling him that. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to call somebody crazy that you don't understand. That's the worst thing that you can do. Just call somebody crazy that you just have no idea about or don't understand. You call them crazy. Like, no, that person, they really just have a, I don't want to call it a complex, but they really are just misunderstood. If you just take the time to understand them, you know what I'm saying, and where they're coming from, then you can probably understand more. You might not even have to necessarily understand them wholeheartedly, but you get where they're coming from. You know what I mean? I don't think calling somebody a quitter, like one of my friends did, like I don't think calling him a quitter is just, I don't think that's not a very sufficient thing to chalk it up as, you know what I'm saying? That's just like calling somebody crazy, you know what I mean? But I'll stay with Antonio Brown, man. I really hope that he gets the help that he deserves. And I know that they were also talking about Bruce Arians supposedly wanted him to get like this, I don't know if it was a steroid shot or some kind of shot or take some kind of medicine to help him, play through the injury. But, I guess Antonio Brown wasn't with that, you know what I'm saying? And first it was, because he did that, then that's when they were saying, oh, he's no longer a part of the, he's no longer a Buck now. He's no longer part of Tampa Bay and stuff like that, and, all kinds of stuff. And then that's when all the receipts and stuff started coming out. And, first they wanted him to play through it, and then Bruce Arians admitted later on that they wanted him to play through, and they was gonna give him like a shot or some sort of medicine or whatever. And then Antonio Brown was on one of the podcasts, and he was talking about how he wanted to train with one of these guys, but because of that, something didn't happen in the fashion that he wanted it to. So as a result of that, he wanted him to refund it back. You have to do your homework on it, do your little research, but it's out there. People tried to I don't want to say he tried to throw Tom Brady under the bus, but they tried to say he did. I don't know. Definitely. It's worth a read if you really want to know what all's happening behind it. It's definitely a read. So y'all definitely check that out. But yeah, I stand with Antonio Brown, man. Prayers are with him. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, something good comes out of this. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, definitely check on your mental health, physically. You know what I'm saying? Because, an organization, such as the NFL, you see how they did Kaepernick. And Kaepernick, it wasn't even about, it wasn't even about the simple fact that that it was about kneeling. Like, he really wanted to take a stand for something. He wanted to really, I see people and I hear them now already sucking their teeth and rolling their eyes. But it was just about, him wanting to make a stance, make a statement about it. You know what I mean? And the NFL always tries to do things to appease the audience and not upset anybody because they can lose money behind it. And it's like, what's the point of expressing yourself if it means that you could be extradited out of the NFL? You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the point? It seems like players in the NFL, it's like you can't speak up for yourself. You can't stand up for yourself because the minute you do, they want you out. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not really jumping to the side of the NFL here, and I'm more or less looking at the player, because when's the last time we've heard the player side of things? When's the last time we ever seen a player, be done like this in this fashion and he come out on top? You know what I'm saying? When's the last time have you seen that? Vic is probably about the only exception that he did his time, came back and, had a starting quarterback spot for the Eagles. You know what I mean? And then he was a backup later on. He ended up retiring. Of course, he wasn't the same Vic at that time when he first came out, but at the same as that time, the NFL gave him a second shot. You know what I mean? But the NFL really isn't all what it's cracked up to be, especially when it comes down to stuff like this. So, like I said, man, hopefully Antonio Brown gets the help he needs and deserves. And I stand with Antonio Brown, man. I can't really take the NFL's back on this one, because I feel like the players need to have more backing, instead of them just being looked at as somebody that can go out there, put their body through all that stress and just put up points for them and then do it all again the next Sunday. And you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. I'm winning Antonio Brown with this one. So so I'll be keeping track of that, see if anything comes up out of that. But I definitely I stand with him. Moving along, let's see here. So the playoffs are coming up. I watched the game against the Eagles. I guess you can call this the Eagles headquarters. You know what I'm saying? I guess is what you can call it. But so I was watching the Eagles game versus the Cowboys, and honestly, I didn't really too much care for that last game. But I just thought, to me, it was funny, because I was just like, how do you go that hard in the last game? They put up 56 points. But I'm just like, okay, you're in the playoffs. So why are you playing your third string? I mean, why are you playing your first string versus a team of second and third strings? You know what I'm saying? That's just like me playing NCAA, and I take all my superstars on a team, and we're ranked number 1 in the nation, and I play against a FCS East team. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a win regardless. So what's the point of me playing that hard? You see what I'm saying? And then right after that game, I have a national championship against the number 2 ranked team in the state or nation or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, why would you want to play that hard, put up 150 something points against that team, and then knowing the fact that I got a championship game the next week right after that? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. So when I saw that game, I was like, I'm not really worried about it, but I think Cowboys are going to end up being the first ones to leave. They're going to be the first ones to leave, because the fact that they played their starters like that, and they played them hard, like it was another game, which I admire the intensity, but at the same as that time, still fuck the Cowboys. But at the same time, like, that could come back to haunt you later on because you need your people to be fresh. You need your men to be fresh. You know what I mean? But playing like that, you ain't doing nothing but putting wear and tear on them already for the next game. Because like I said, you playing like that with your starters, that could literally like either make or break you in your playoff game. You got the first round already. You and I didn't wild card. You know what I'm saying? So what's the point? But I was looking at Jesus, I just seen it. Let me pull it up here. Sorry about that. Let me see here. Eagles, because they just they reactivated almost everybody. Let me see. Let me give you the rundown about who they reactivated. Okay. So this is about 3 hours ago from the time I'm reading this. So the Eagles have activated Gennard Avery. I'm sorry, I might butcher his name. Fletcher Cox, aka BBC. Marcus Epps, the safety. Dallas Goedert, or Goddard, however you want to call it. Nate Herbig. I'm sorry. The guard and not guard. Jesus, I'm messing up. We're gonna keep going. The running back. I don't know why I can't get these names right. Halfback Jordan Howard. Avonte Maddox, Rodney McLeod, Boston Scott, running back, cornerback, safety, and running back, Alex Singleton, and Jack Stoll. All of them have been reactivated. JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Tyree Jackson and the tackle / guard Brett Toth. They've been put them on the I don't want to call it IR, but the reserve injured, and they signed Jason Huntley from the practice squad to the active roster. So we got more running backs, and they released Matt McCrane and running back Kerryon Johnson from the practice squad. So this is word from the Eagles. This is strict word from the Eagles. That's the roster changes. So with that onslaught being activated and our starters being fresh come time for the first game against the Buccaneers, I think that if the best way we can beat the Buccaneers, excuse me, let me take a drink. Water, ladies and gentlemen. Got to make sure you stay hydrated. Yes, sir. All right. So, the best way the Eagles have a chance of beating the Buccaneers is you have to do clock management. That's your best bet, which I already know the defense is already going to give them hell. You know what I mean? Like, let me see. What are the Buccaneers ranked right now? So as far as passing goes, they're ranked number 4 as far as passing. So they're tight on that aspect. And as far as, let me see, rushing, they're ranked number 1 against rushing. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're ranked number 1. Passing, they're rated number 4. So, I mean, they have to, Philly has to be methodical, and yet they have to manage the clock to keep Tom Brady off the field. They can't be doing all these little trickery plays. You might be able to sneak 1 or 2 in there, but don't use this as a time to try to press your luck and see if you can find different ways of trying to get the ball off the field. Run the ball. That's the best thing I could say. Run the ball. Manage that clock. Do not give them any kind of ammo to start out with. If anything is possible, I say we might beat them by 7, maybe 10. But it's going to be a close game. If Philly get behind, they'll get behind, and they'll stay behind to maybe about the third quarter. Other than that, I say maybe midway through the third, that's when we're going to take in the lead, and after that, we just sit on the clock. But I got them beating them by 10. I got them beating them by 10, and it's not by an easy game whatsoever, because that is Tom Brady. But if you can limit the time clock and keep him off the field, and try to capitalize, whether you get 3, it don't even matter. If you come off with 3, that's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? But manage that clock. Be smart with the movement. That play call has to be excellent. I mean, I'm talking about, oh my God, like it has to be spot on. Doug Peterson smart. Like when we went to Super Bowl type smart. You know what I'm saying? It has to be that. If not, we going home. If not, we going home. So whenever the playoffs start, man, I will be tuning in, see how that turns out. But yeah, definitely. If Philly can manage the clock, I see us beating them by 10. I really see that. So So yeah, man. Hopefully Philly can pull this off. If they can pull this off, man, I think it's gonna be. We might as well break out the underdog mask again. Might as well. You know what I'm saying? But geez, I'm trying to see. Is there anything else on the docket? Let me see. Mm, talked about Cralo, talked about Madden, talked about NCAA, Battlefield, Call of Duty, social media, Antonio Brown, Eagles playoffs predictions. Damn, man. I guess that's it, man. So I guess we should be wrapping this thing on up, man. Like I said, this is the pilot episode, man. So not really sure exactly how this is gonna boil over, man. Hopefully y'all like this. Maybe y'all want to hear more. Maybe get some more topics involved. Maybe get some guests on here. I don't know. Trying to talk to Ryan Moody. Hopefully he all right. You know what I mean? Just trying to get some people from the sim community in here, man. Maybe I don't know. Let's see how the first one goes, man. If the response is well, I'm gonna still keep doing it, but hopefully people receive it well. And yeah, man. So I'm gonna start wrapping this thing on up, man. Shout out to everybody, man, who've been supporting the channel. Shout out to if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Click the bell icon to be notified every time I upload. Make sure you hit the like button on it if you are listening to any other podcast or any other, I guess, location of wherever you hear this podcast at. Definitely make sure that y'all check us out, man. Check me out. I mean, look up YouTube Just DiVine. You should see my silver and my silver and white logo that says JD. You can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check out my YouTube, man. Everything is in the description box down below. When you click on my name, should get all my social medias on there. But I'm gonna definitely wrap this thing on up, man. Black folks, make sure y'all being safe out here. You know what I mean? I really want to use the endings at least to try to be encouraging for black people, you know what I mean? Because I've seen too many platforms that's not really doing that right about now. But black folks, y'all be safe out there, man. Make sure y'all are checking in on your family. Make sure because family is everything. So make sure you check on your people, not only just family but your friends. You know what I mean? Sometimes they feel like they're not really there all the time, but I'm pretty sure they would love to have somebody like you in their corner. So definitely make sure you check up on your friends, man. Family is everything. Make sure you stay in touch with family, and be safe out there, man. Use your brain. Sometimes you just gotta let them have today so you can have tomorrow. So, make sure you be safe out there, man. Be the best you can be, and hope the best for tomorrow. But y'all, I'm gonna wrap this thing on up, man. It's the Just DiVine podcast. I am signing off. I appreciate everybody coming through, checking it, taking a listen. And like I said, it's the pilot episode, man. So only thing we can see is what the second one holds for us. So yeah, man, it's your boy DiVine, and I'm signing out. Peace.